So, I'm going to tell you some things that I wish I known when I was a kid that I didn't. What I would tell myself now. These are some of the most important life lessons I learned. The most important thing I would tell myself is you got to think before you speak, and don't take your anger on other people just because you felt that they hurt you in some ways and you want a revenge. Like, if I was to tell you that I used to be an internet troll, would you believe me? But I was. That's the problem. I was. And not just an internet troll, but I was really, really mean to people who I just over little things, I was very mean. And I said a lot of things to friends that I regret. And I also said a lot of things through to my online friends or even like random people on the internet that I regret. It's all because of my own self, to be honest. I reflected on this, and because I've been like writing like a draft copy of my own life story, and I wrote a lot of these things in it because they were like major things, and it's something that you will never be able to forget. You might feel good at the moment saying it. Oh, it's like, yeah, I'm just taking revenge. I'm going to make them feel good. I mean, sorry, I'm going to make myself feel good, but making them feel like trash. It's like you're thinking that at the moment. You're like saying things out of anger. You're like, oh, you're such a blah, blah, blah. You're saying all these horrible things. It's going to bite you in the ass more than anyone else in the future because, yeah, you'll probably lose that friend. Even if you do make up, it'll never be the same because they're going to feel a certain way about you. It's like, would you still love a friend who said kind of nasty things to you? Probably not. So you're going to remember that for the rest of your life, and you'll probably regret it and feel bad about it and just wish you'd keep your mouth shut. If only I'd told myself that and stopped myself from saying all of that, that would have, have made me have less regrets, I guess. Like, that was one of the worst things, like, is that when I got really mad, sometimes friends will do things to annoy you. You all have your moods, especially if, ladies, you have friends, like, you guys have that time of the month thing at the same time. Oh my god, it's gonna start up a lot of shit. I won't even sugarcoat that. Like, sometimes you'll just be in both of you will be in that horrible mood, and it's gonna set something off. I should tell that story that that really embarrassing story. I'll think about it later, but I was also really bad with just dealing with different opinions and things. I was horrible. Like, I was that person who people would mock and laugh at because I was so ridiculous that I went on someone's personal page and I flamed them because they didn't like the show that I liked. That was how bad I was. That was how bad I was. And honestly, if I were to look back now, I would slam my freaking brain into a Ziploc bag and throw it in the freaking freezer or something. I don't know. Like, that's what I would want to do because of how crazy that was. I was so ridiculously controlling and just horrible because I had the worst low self-esteem, and because of that, I couldn't handle anything. Honestly, I still have bad self-esteem. That hasn't changed, but I do work on things now that at least I know I will never do that now. Like, I don't know, I guess over time you do grow, your brain gets more thinkative and you're able to come up with things, you're able to at least just come up with ways to stop yourself. So that's what matters, because I think what I lacked was self-control. What I lacked was the ability to think before you speak, because a lot of times when you're young, that's what happens. You kind of just do things out of anger. Like, I said a lot of things to my mum that I regret. Like, of course, she's not perfect. I'm not perfect. We piss each other off. But there are times where I would call her a bitch, and I would just say all this, like, I remember saying a lot of things in my head, but there was just times where I would say things out loud that, oh my god, like, I would never dream about saying today. No matter how angry I got, I'd probably, like, say things, like, in my under or my breath when people can't hear me, but I would never say it so that they hear me. So that's just, I don't know, there was this really huge part of me that really wanted revenge when I was young if people pissed me off in any way. Maybe they said something I don't agree with or something. I was like, I am not at all proud of what I did, but yeah, I was an internet troll. I said horrible things to people because I felt so horrible myself, and I just thought, like, saying that felt like I was getting revenge in some ways. And that's why I kind of can understand the mindset of someone who do say horrible things. Because sometimes I would think something, and it's like, the difference is whether you, when you think it, whether you say it or not. So I feel like all of us can think things, all of us can see something or see someone trying or see whatever it is or see something, and we could be thinking something negative. Just like when we're out and about, how many times have I looked at someone and thought something that I would never say out loud, right? But I do believe that the important thing is whether you can control your own mouth with saying it out loud. And I was not good at that when I was young. I said a lot of things. I'm not going to recount everything, and I'm not going to say what I said or where I said it, but I will just say right now that I said a lot of things that I regret, that I would never dream about doing now, and I wish I could make up for it, but I can't, because what's done is done. But all I can say is, if you feel bitter and you want to take revenge, or you feel so horrible and you just want to say things to people to piss them off, you want to make them feel bad, like, take that energy and do something good with your life. Seriously, that's what I should have done. I should have started making videos 20 years ago. I should have just ignored all my fears, ignored all my stupid insecurities about how I didn't look good enough, whatever, blah, blah, blah. Should have just taken all my energy into making videos and stop trying to, like, meddle with other people's affairs. Just, like, trying to, like, just, I don't know, getting involved in other things just for, like, drama's sake. I mean, I enjoy a little bit of drama. I'm not drama free. I mean, I like to watch it. But that's kind of what I do now, is I just watch from a distance. I don't like to actually be in there going, blah, 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 blah. Like, you know what I mean? I did that before. It was quite embarrassing, honestly. But I feel like if you have that energy inside you, maybe you want to do something with your life. And I feel like you got to do that thing rather than just take your annoyance out on random people that you don't agree with, or said something that may just triggered something in you, like triggered your insecurity or made you feel like trash, or maybe they're not appreciating something that you don't have. Like, that's another thing, is that sometimes people will really piss you off if they don't really appreciate, they're complaining about something that you don't even have. Like, they're saying, oh no, like, I don't know, and then you're like, you bitch, I don't even have that option to have this, and you're complaining. Have you ever had that happen? Because I have, and I was just, like, so pissed off, and I wanted to say things, I wanted to be mean, I wanted to piss them off. But when I think about it now, it's like, oh, I feel so bad about it, and I just feel regretful, and I just wish I could, like, I try to make up for past mistakes by just trying to do the opposite these days, because it's like, I want to, like, bring more positive energy in the world. But I wasn't always like that. I wasn't always, like, thinking the way I do now. I think it took a long time. It took years and years for me to get here, because I was able to fulfill what I wanted to do. And now, because I'm in a happier place, I'm in a very happy place, I'm able to do what I want in life. So we're just making videos. To me, that is always something I wanted to do. And when I couldn't do it before, I felt so bitter. I was like, oh, like, look at everyone living their dreams and I can't do it. But who was putting that on me? Myself. Because nobody told me I couldn't film. I did that to myself. I thought I wasn't good enough. I thought because I didn't look good enough, I couldn't freaking get on camera. But in reality, that was just me telling myself this lie that wasn't even true. And then what I do, I spent all this time saying all this crap to people that I don't even mean, that I was not even, like, meaning that. And now I'm spending the rest of my life regretting that and feeling, like, so horrible that I did that. It's like, ugh, why waste that? Why not just take the direct route in the beginning and do the thing that you really love, so you're not bitter and you're not angry and you're not jealous and you're not feeling so, whether you can achieve that person's level of success is up to you. You got to work hard. You may not get it that easily, but that doesn't matter. You can still work hard. It's still more fulfilling than you just sitting back, watching them do what you wanted to do, and then letting your life pass by. 20 years later, what do you get in return? Nothing. Like, nothing. So why not just do the thing that you really want to do? For me, it was filming videos. For me, it was getting in front of a camera. For me, it was not hating the way I looked and sounded in front of a camera so that I could talk to people like this and not worry. There was a time when I filmed my first video, maybe 15 years ago, 10 years ago, yeah, something like that I deleted right away because I was like, oh, so cringeworthy. Look at me talking. Oh, I can't even stand my own teeth. But then I was like, fuck that. Like, seriously, how many of the world, people in the world born with perfect teeth? Yeah. So that doesn't mean you shouldn't get it fixed if you want to. Like, I would be getting it fixed if I had the money, but unfortunately that's not something that I have the money. But that's beside the point, you know. If you want something done, you gotta do it. You just gotta do it. You can't live in jealousy and anger and resentment because other people are doing it and you're not, and then you're taking out your anger on them. That's just not a healthy way to live for yourself. That's not even about them, it's about you. You're going to wake up and 50 years time, well, not, maybe, not I'm thinking like 20 years time or something, and you're going to regret all the things you could have done during that time. I'm thinking like, okay, if I started filming 20 years ago, imagine the flood of items that I would have now. Maybe over 3,000 or 5,000 videos or something. And I'd be able to document all the stuff that I missed out on. I'd be able to see all the things I'd crave now because I can't get those experiences back. Like, I can't even get those experiences back that I lived like 10 years ago. I wish I did. That's my greatest regret. That's my one regret that I just wish I had done. Of course, if that's not your dream, that maybe something else is. I don't know what it is, but whatever your dream is, like maybe you always wanted to start this like, I don't know, a business or something, or maybe you always wanted to get into something that, I don't know, you just, I feel like almost everything that stops you is not so much, like, it's not so much like, how do I say this? I feel like the only thing that really stops you is your own fear talking. Like, have you ever felt like before you got really good at something, there was this voice inside you that just told you not to do it because it's so scary that it won't work? Like, I had that feeling when I was setting up my own first live stream setup. Well, not live stream, but, gameplay setup. I was like setting it up. I was like, oh my god, it's so hard. I don't want to do it. I put it off for so long because the equipment looked so hard. Why was it so fucking hard to just turn on your microphone thing and turn on the microphone and speak into it? But to me, my mind told me that it's not just about turning on the thing. You have to connect it in certain ways. But that was all lies because all I had to do was turn it on, plug it in, of course, correctly, turn it on, speak into it, and it's working. But I don't know why I thought, oh, I couldn't do it because it was so complicated. Every single time that happens, I want to experience something new. I want to like go somewhere. I want to like experience something in maybe in a new country, and I'm like, oh, I really want to do this, but it's impossible because I will get lost, because I will do this, I will that. Your fear is going to tell you everything that you can't do, or everything's going to go wrong, and everything horrible that's going to happen. And in the end, if you can't battle that fear, if you can't get through that, you're just going to end up in that place where you're still miserable because you just haven't started, you haven't done it. And you know what? When you actually, the few times that I have done things that I feared and I was able to get through it, I came back in the same place and I was like, why was I so scared? What the fuck? Like, why was I so scared of this stupid thing? Like, it wasn't that scary at all. Your brain is just so... Like, you have to get used to something. You just have to get used to something for you to actually not see that thing as scary. But my worst regret of all time would just be using that drive that I wanted to do things and being afraid of it, and instead I would just get all pissed off and angry and bitchy and all that, and then I took it out on people. Some people were friends, some people were strangers, some people were just over the internet. I took it out on people because I had websites in the past. I would talk to a lot of different people. I took it out on those as well. Like, horrible thing to do. So, that would be my greatest regret. I wish I had been able to stop myself from doing that. If I were to tell myself one thing, it would be just to get off your afraid ass and just do something. Like, seriously, go watch someone that's motivational, and then it will kickstart your gear. Stop watching people that's making you feel like you can't be as good as them. That happens sometimes. You might just I don't know why there are certain people that you'll watch that will instantly trigger that comparison thing. You'll instantly feel incompetent compared to them. There will be people like that. Maybe even some people, when they watch me, will feel that way. I don't know. It'd be crazy because I feel that all the time when I'm watching people. Like, I don't mean it, but sometimes I'll turn on and I'll watch someone talk and they have the most amazing charisma and they're so funny and they're so awesome and they talk so amazingly, and then instantly I'd be like, I can't be ever as good as them. Nobody's gonna like me because they exist, right? It's like, that's just something that will happen when you have low self-esteem. That's just something that a lot of people will feel when you just sometimes, like, early experiences will make you just think that you're not worthy or you're not good or you're not as good. So you're always going to have that comparison thing. But the most important thing I find is to distance myself from whatever that's making me feel or insecure. Sometimes it could just be like, when you're watching a show and that, like, main lead is so beautiful and perfect in every single way with flawless skin and everything looks so good about them, and you're like, instantly you just feel so stupid. Like, why should you bother with life when there's so beautiful people out there? But you do have to remember that they go through things too, and it's like, flawless skin could be with makeup. Like, if I had makeup on, if I actually bothered off my ass and actually did makeup, which I want to one day, I just have to, like, figure out the time or how I'd do that. But if I actually did get off my ass and do that, maybe I'll have flawless skin too. Who knows? Like, it's like, so don't be too unrealistic with expectations on yourself. It's just not a good thing to expect, oh, I have to be perfect in every single way or else I can never compare. Like, if it really makes you feel that insecure watching someone that's really fun or nice, then don't watch them. Watch someone that will help you feel like you can do it too. That's the important thing. I've had to limit who I consume. Oh no, who I consume. That sounds like I'm eating people. That's horrible. No. I had to limit on how like what kind of content I consume. I should say, not who I consume. I limit the type of content I can consume, because I know there are certain things that's gonna make me feel like oh, I can't do it as well. I have to limit myself and not just obsess over it, because sometimes it's easy to just obsess over it. It's easy to, like, just focus on that and oh my god, nothing else. But there are also going to be people who will make you feel like you can do it, who makes you feel good about yourself. Just follow those people. There are people like that. Believe me, you'll find some people like that. Hopefully you can follow them, and just so every time you watch something, you'll get that boost of confidence. That's what I always try to do these days. I try to watch someone that will help me feel like, oh, I don't suck. No, I can do this too, kind of energy. So that's great. It's not the person's fault. I mean, they're just doing what they love to do. I mean, like, sometimes people are charismatic and it's like a gift, and it's not their fault. It's nothing they've done wrong. They're just being them. They're being really great. But sometimes it's like they're flawless, like, energy or something that just makes you feel like, oh, like, they're so great and I'm not, like, I don't know why that happens. I just notice that certain people, when I watch, as soon as I start watching, I'll feel that insecurity, and I know, okay, I gotta limit myself. I have to limit myself, because then you start the comparison game. Oh, there's more people who love them. That's a proof there that they're better than me and I suck. How many times have you done that? How many times have I done that? Oh my god, horrible. Sometimes you have to just kind of block out all that noise, block out all those things, and just focus on what you're gonna do, which is whatever you love to do, which is whatever that makes you the happiest, whatever that you are excited to get up to do in the morning. That is not work but excitement. To me, that is the most meaningful type of thing you can do, is that you're doing something that you're so excited you can't wait to get out of bed. Now that is the true meaning of doing something that is, like, worthwhile, I think. That's just, yeah, that's how I felt about many things, and that's what I would tell myself, is to not waste my time, not regret things, because that is, like, over my life I've done, like, sometimes I've just managed to get the, what's the word, the courage to film a little bit And those some of the best memories that I can look back on. And I just wish I had more. Like, there were a few years where I moved overseas. There were a few years where I visited places and I don't even have memories. There were like moments that I wish I had more memories on that I don't. And it's because I didn't do it because I was afraid or I didn't feel like I was good enough. Whatever it was. It's just regretful, you know. But that doesn't mean it's too late, honestly. I feel like there's never too late. You can always catch up. You can always do what you regret not doing now, today, this instant, this minute, this millisecond. You can still do it. And I've been trying to do that, and I've never felt happier, honestly. I feel like really good these days because I don't let a single thing go by without, like, knowing, okay, I want to document, I want to film this, I want to document this because that will make me really happy. And that's what I love doing. That's just something I love. Everyone has their own loves and different things that they love doing. Like, right now, I'm playing a game called Stardew Valley. It's one of my favorite games of all times. I really loved it. In the past, me would have just played the game, loved it, and that's it. But now I'm like, you know what? I want to share my love of the game with people. I don't care if like the content I make is not suitable for other whatever. Like I just love the game so much. I just want to share my love with it. And because of that, I've been making like content about it, and I have felt so good and happy. I can't even explain to you how excited that makes me to be able to like play the game that I love and share my thoughts about it and what I love about it. That's one of my favorite things. And in the past, I wouldn't have done that because it would have been too intimidating for me. I would have been like, oh, it's too hard to set it up. It's too hard to do this, do that. That's the whole thing about the microphone thing, right? I'm thinking, pressing the switch, thinking that I have to press like 500 different things, plug it in every single time, and all you have to do is press the on button, and that's it. It's like so ridiculous. Like, I was afraid of that, and all this time I was just so afraid. Why? I don't even know why I was so afraid, but sadly that just happened, so. But the end of the thing, I do want to just give one more message to you out there, is just, like, focus on reaching your own goals rather than like other people. Like, honestly, it's easy to just want to live vicariously through others, and just letting your own goals go to waste. Don't do that, because you're going to regret it in 20 or 30 years time, and then you're going to be like, damn, I shouldn't have wasted the time over fear. Like, that's just in the head. That's all in the mind. The fear is not real. There's no real, like, it's not going to be like something physical that's going to happen if you brace your fears. So, I don't know. For me, it was like all about getting comfortable in front of the camera. I really wasted a lot of years feeling too afraid. And I know a lot of people feel the same. And they'll ask me, like, how do you do that? Like, how do you do that? And I'm just like, I wasted too many years not doing that. That's how I do that. That's how I got here. Because I wasted all these years not doing what I really wanted, regretting the fracking hell out of it, and now I'm like, if only. If only. But I'm making up for it right now, so I'm happy. I'm happy with life, and that's what matters. So I hope that makes you kind of want to take some action. Like, take action, really. Today would be nice. And, like, focus less on people that make you feel insecure. Because that's just going to make you want to say things. It's going to make you, like, feel bleh. Like, just watch a person that can bring out the best in you and make you want to do things. That's the best thing you can do for yourself, honestly. And, yeah, go for it. Because, like, I'm not at all, like, some people might look at me the way I speak and think, oh, wow, you're really confident and stuff. But believe you me, I was not that way all the time. I struggled so badly in the beginning. I was like, I don't know, stuttering, speaking quick, speaking slow, speaking like I was not knowing what I'm going to say. It took a lot of practice for me to get to where I am now, that I could speak without any prompts, anything, just to come up with shit out of my ass. Like, I don't even know how I do that, but it's just a lot of practice, and you do it with practice. You just have to keep going. Don't give up after like 2 months or 2 years even. Like, don't give up. That's what another thing I did is like, if I had not given up, another thing I do want to say is there was a few things that I really got good at that I was working hard on, and I gave up on them before I even did anything with them. And if I had just kept going with some things, I would have probably seen a level of success in some ways that, just something good would have come out of it. But I always gave things up too quickly, and because of that, it never went anywhere. It was just always like start projects, mid-project, and that's it. The project went from a really exciting start, like, oh my god, and then it went middle and then nowhere. Like that's just how all my projects have been. And I would tell myself to really think about what makes you give up, what makes you quit, what makes you burn out, and figure it out. Like, what kind of stresses cause that? What kind of stress is causing you to not want to do something you used to love? That's the thing. If there was something that you can actually pinpoint, do write it down, analyze it, figure it out, find out how you can decrease that stress, because it will matter to you, because you need to be aware of it. You need to be aware of you giving up on things too early for you to actually be able to do anything, to do something about it. Because before I was aware that I gave up too easily, I just gave up too easily. That's all that happened. I gave up too easily. I would work 2 years really hard on something, and then as soon as I see a bit of momentum, it got too stressful and I gave up and I quit. And then I never got anywhere because I quit too early. And there are people who are doing their freaking, like, third cookbooks because they've been doing it for 10 years and they're still going today. And I'm like, why don't I have a cookbook? Yeah, because you worked on it for 2 years, you just never even bothered with writing a cookbook. That's what I would say to myself. So, I don't know. Sometimes it's all about the length. Like, it's so important not to just start something and give up. And you got to think about, for me, it's all about stress. So whatever is stressing me out will cause me to give up on something. I have to think about, how can I decrease the stress? What can I do to not stress about the situation? That's what I have to tell myself. And that really works, because when I can work out what stresses me out, I can figure out, okay, how about I not do this thing that's going to stress me out as much. Let's just do something different. Let's not look at this thing that might stress me out. Let's just focus on something else or something. So that will keep it going longer. A lot of times you'll find that the reason for your stress is other people's opinions. Sadly, we live in a world where we stress more about other people's opinions than anything else. And that's kind of just unfortunate and not something we should be dealing with. We should be just living for ourselves and doing things for ourselves, and that's very important. So that's all the things I really would love to tell you and to think about. So hope that kind of makes some kind of thing in your life, right? Hopefully, I hope so. Anyway, have a great day. I'm just going to finish my coffee now and talk to you soon.